Hello and welcome. Today I want to talk about how you can learn to regulate your triggers and your severe reactions when you have an insecure attachment of any kind, whether that's avoidant, fearful avoidant, or anxious attachment. So, how are you supposed to deal with your triggers, your emotions, and how are you supposed to regulate and balance yourself so that you can handle other people? While you're here, my name is Claire, welcome, and this channel is dedicated to helping you find success, happiness, get yourselves out of a rut, and level up your lives. So this topic is so important because we are all surrounded by other people, right? We have relationships, we have family, we have people that we work with, and you're going to have to figure out how to navigate these relationships. If you have an insecure attachment style, dealing with relationships with any of these attachment styles is just so difficult with the triggers, with the fears. So what I did and what really works well for healing your triggers is you have to learn that when you are being triggered, this is most likely a wound that came from childhood or came from some situation way back in the past. It's a trauma response, and you are now in a situation with someone and they are bringing up that wound. So what a lot of people do, and what I used to do, which never works out, is you immediately want to react. You want to get mad at them, you want to burst out in anger, you want to cry or maybe storm out and tell them that you're done with this situation or whatnot. And that is only going to make things so much worse because you are reacting from your inner child's perspective. You're reacting from a place of fear or pain or deep anger, which is the root of this trauma that you want to get rid of. When you are reacting in that way, basically burning bridges, destroying relationships, because your trigger is so painful and you just don't know how to deal with it. And so what you have to realize and what you have to learn how to do is you have to learn the awareness behind the trigger. So you have your inner child self, which is the wounded, angry, traumatized part of you that is still unhealed. However, you now are in your full awareness. You are able to kind of see in the situation that you're in what's happening. So if you are in a dynamic and suddenly someone makes you angry or someone triggers a pain and it makes you want to run off, or tell them something that you're going to regret, you have to see from your higher awareness, oh my gosh, this is my inner child feeling triggered, feeling hurt. I am going to deal with this emotion in a new way. So you might have that first instinct of what you want to do, how you want to react, how your younger inner child wants to react, have a tantrum, whatnot. But your higher, more aware, wiser self is now going to halt that temporarily. Okay, so I'm not saying that you're going to ignore your emotion and you're going to repress it and like continue this cycle of neglecting yourself. I'm just saying you are going to halt your typical response temporarily until you can find a proper outlet for it. So it really is difficult in the moment, and I've done this so many times where I'm just like either boiling upset or I want to like run away or all sorts of different things in different dynamics. But you learn to take a step back and you're just like, okay, depending on this situation, am I in a space where I can actually leave right now? Can I tell this person, hey, I need a breather. I'm not feeling so well. I'm gonna be okay, but I need some time to myself. I just have some things that I need to process. So whether or not they did something extremely rude or whatnot, it's not in your best interest to react in the same way. You don't have to do tit for tat. You don't have to get revenge or whatever. You just have to give yourself what you need. So let's say somebody says something that has triggered you and you're in a space like, okay, I need some time. I'm gonna go make an excuse, or you can excuse yourself with like the genuine, like, hey, I'm not feeling very well right now. I need to go like take a breather. And then you can go deal with it, which I will explain later in this video, if that's possible. And now if you're in a situation where you like literally you're working, you're dealing with tons of people, someone triggers you, and then you can't really leave right there and you're just like, oh my gosh, I want to react so badly, I really am pissed off, or whatever feeling you might have. But oh my gosh, here's clients, here's people, like I have to be in the moment right now. So what you're going to do in that situation is you are going to temporarily put your emotion and your trigger, your inner child, in a safe place within you. Okay, so inner child wants to have tantrum. I'm going to securely put my inner child away for now, knowing that when I have time later, I'm gonna let my inner child have whatever emotion, whatever outburst it needs to have in a healthy, safe way. Safe for me, safe for everyone. Whether or not they did something that is valid of a reaction or not, you don't have to go there, okay? So most likely, when you're first starting this healing journey, it's going to be very difficult to do this, okay? Because you have automatic responses, you have deep triggers, and your inner child is seriously wounded and has not been listened to and has been ignored for who knows how long. So it's going to be hard for you to like pull back the inner child's desire, or whatever you want to call it, your inner desire to react. But when you do that, temporarily, you learn that you are in control, that your higher self, your now aware self, is in control. You can remain emotionally balanced. You can, deal with people. You know that you're not going to have some outburst randomly, because when you go into the world without the tools, and you're just like reactive, and you don't know who's going to trigger you and how you're going to react, and you're just like kind of at the will of what's going on, it's very empowering to finally realize that you are in control and that you do have the power to rein in your emotions and keep them to yourself until you find the right time and place to let them out. So it's going to solve a lot of problems with people. It's going to solve a lot of problems with how you even see yourself and the confidence that you have in, yeah, I can deal with this social situation. I can deal with this dynamic. I know that I have the power to navigate through this dynamic and be fine. No matter how I'm feeling, I will make time for myself when it's appropriate. So now that we've got that settled, we know that we're not going to be reacting. We know that we are in control. We know that we have our wounded selves or inner children that need to be expressed, but it's not always the right time and place. So now that we've got that covered, what are you going to do in order to release that reaction later? Okay, so you've reined it in temporarily in the social situation where it's not appropriate. Then you either, you've left the situation to take time for yourself, or you are now done with work and you're at home and you're ready to let it out. How are you going to let that out? So I have lots of videos on this, and you guys can always check the description box below. I will post some videos, but I will go through this again as well. There's so many different techniques and so many different things that you can do to release your emotions in a safe place on your own. If you feel like crying and you've had to repress that through the day because it was inappropriate, then by all means, when you're at home, go ahead, let out that crying, do what you need to do. You are releasing this deep wound that needs to be released, that you have most likely been stuffing down for so long, and now someone has actually triggered it and allowed it to rise up inside of you. And so it's perfect, actually, the perfect opportunity to release that pain. If you are feeling angry, take that drive, do that yelling in the car, like scream it out, whatever you wanted to say. You don't have to, but I mean, if you were planning on saying something to that person, you can say it in your car while you're driving home. Scream it out loud to yourself, let out the anger, let out the emotion. It's only temporary. And guess what? You are going to be not only saving face for yourself, because you aren't going to be showing that side of yourself to someone, but you're also saving them from having to deal with your reaction, whether or not they deserved it, or, if it's justified or not. We're all human, we're all dealing with our own things, but they don't have to deal with that from you. And that's going to end up being so great for harmony in relationships and, getting along with people. And then maybe, who knows, maybe in the future they won't be triggering you anymore, and you guys can have a better relationship dynamic without having to deal with the consequences of your reactions. That being said, you are releasing your emotions in a safe space. I am planning on making a video about, specific techniques on how to do this, because I know that when I say, like, go ahead and have a cry, sometimes it might not be that easy for some of us. I know how that is, because I have been there, and I know that sometimes you just can't let those emotions out so easily. So I will make a video on, like, really how to get yourself to cry those emotions out and release the emotion if it's stuck. But let's say, for now, you were triggered, you want to cry, you want to yell in a safe space later on when it's appropriate, and when you're alone, most likely. You could even journal, you could, do breathing exercises, do some yoga exercise. There's all sorts of different things that you can do to release your emotions. Once you've released them, you will be calm. You will no longer have that inner child perspective, that tantrum or whatever thing that needed to be released from you will be released. And now you can actually calmly, from a place of peace, figure out if you have to talk to that person. Is there something that you need to clarify with them? Is there something that needs to be said? Or is this something that maybe you realize now that was just your inner child reacting very badly to something that maybe wasn't that big of a deal given the situation? So you get to decide, once you are clear-headed and clear of that emotion, what is the best response to the person. And that response will be much calmer, much more peaceful than it would have been if you had just reacted from your place of wounding, okay? It's not bad that you have wounds. It's just you don't want to put that on other people, and you don't want to cause more problems for yourself. This is going to really help you, especially if you are feeling triggered in relationships and you want to be able to have relationships, but you are just like afraid of, like, whoa, I don't know what my reaction is going to be. I don't want to make a scene. I don't know how I'm going to navigate this. How am I going to deal with my emotions, my triggers? This can empower you, because there is a way to heal, and there is a way that you can do this peacefully. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Do like and subscribe for more. I'm going to be doing a lot more healing videos and talking about these difficult topics that we don't often learn about or know what to do about. So I will see you guys in my next video. And as always, remember, you are so powerful.